Hi guys, welcome to this video on how to make YouTube videos. In today's topic I'll be talking about whether to script or not to script your videos. So what do I mean by this? Basically, when I say a script, I mean before you start recording your video, you sit down and you write down either word for word what you're going to say, or you write down a basic outline with all the points you're going to talk about, and have that in front of you while you're recording your video. And an unscripted video obviously is one where you're just off the cuff, just talking about whatever comes to mind, completely unplanned, unprepared, but also without having to spend all that time preparing before you even start making the video. So there's some benefits and some disadvantages to both methods of doing things, and both are right. It depends on your style, on what you prefer. So I'll be talking about some of those pros and cons for each method. First of all, let's talk about scripting. When you script a video, you have a lot of time to think about exactly what you're going to say. You're less likely to leave out important points because you've had time to really think about everything you want to say. You're less likely to repeat yourself, which is something that happens a bit with unscripted videos, where it's harder to keep track of what you've already said. And you're less likely to have unprofessional gaps. You're less likely to have a lot of ums and ers when you're working with a script. Another advantage of having a script is that it allows you to focus on things like enunciating your words to make sure that you're speaking clearly, whereas when you talk off the cuff in an unscripted way, sometimes you may not speak as clearly all the time. And some of the cons of having a script is that it can sound a little bit rehearsed and unnatural at times, as if you're reading things out if you're not careful. But with a bit of practice, it's a bit like acting. You may be able to have a script and still sound quite natural. It's just a matter of practice. Another con about scripts is that, at least for me, having a script can make the video making process feel a little bit more formal. And if you're just wanting to have a bit of fun, it may not suit the vibe that you're going for, but I think that's just a matter of personal preference. It may not feel formal to everyone. It's just a matter of your own point of view. Let's talk about unscripted videos now. A few advantages of those are that you can just work really off the cuff, no preparation time, just very spontaneous. Your tone of voice is more natural. It feels more like a conversation to your listeners. And in a way, it's more genuine as well when it's just you speaking. A few more advantages of working without a script are this: I think it can actually help you with public speaking off the cuff as well, or with doing improv work, that kind of stuff. It's good training for that. And it can help you learn to think in a more structured way when you're talking, which is always a good skill to have, I think. And there's also the point that you can always cut out and edit the video or the audio later to cut out any ums and ers and gaps. So even if you do make them, it's not the end of the world. And also, if you've left anything out in the first recording that you've made, you can always go back and record another section later and edit that in so that it fits seamlessly in with the original video. Just if you do that, make sure you have the same setup for the recording so that you aren't suddenly in a different outfit or in a different background between takes, because that can look a bit funny. But as long as you do it in the same background, it should be fine. With unscripted videos, it can be a little bit more of an adrenaline rush. It can be a good thing if you like adrenaline, but if you don't like that feeling of not knowing what you're doing, and if you tend to feel a bit nervous about that kind of thing, it can be a bit nerve-wracking doing things off the cuff. But again, I think it's a matter of practice, and with practice it becomes less scary not having a script, and you can learn to have confidence in yourself that you'll get through it even without a script. But it can also feel a bit strange talking to a microphone without having any idea of what you're going to say next. It's not like talking to a person where you have feedback and someone to ask you questions to help you continue your train of thought. It's just you with a microphone and you have to try and get somewhere. It really depends on what your style is like, what you prefer, to which method you choose. But both can work depending on you. As you might be able to tell, this whole bit that I've been talking is unscripted because I have a tendency to prefer the scripted methods of making videos. It helps me feel confident, helps me feel prepared and like I know where I'm going. But it's worth giving the unscripted method a chance too. If you have one preference, one usual way of doing things, it's worth trying both methods just to see what it feels like. Because I think the unscripted method, although it may be a bit harder if you're like me, if you're used to scripting, I think it's just a skill that you can learn and that you can perfect in time. And if you never give it a go, you never really will learn that skill. So it's worth trying it just to see what it's like, see if it fits for you, if you like the way it feels. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about scripting. In the comments below, I'd love to hear, what do you prefer? Do you like having a script? Do you prefer doing it the unscripted way? What's your preference and why? Let me know, I'd love to hear your answers. Okay, until next time.